Hey, folks, that was quicker than I thought. Thanks for tuning into the BAM podcast, our inaugural Blaster Bolts episode. Tonight, we're talking about Blaster Bolts, which is the hip new sci-fi fiction/RPG zine that we're putting out. A combination of fiction and new material for the White Star RPG. Here is our contractually obligated promo music. That chiselingly handcrafted intro lets you know, gentle listeners, that you are listening to a quality production value podcast. Speaking of podcasts, I've got oh boy, everyone on this show runs a podcast. We're a bunch of middle-aged white guys. Darren Drader, right next to me, RPG legend. You run a Twitch stream where you guys play post-apocalyptic RPGs, right?
Well, let's see. We run a Fallout game. We also run a Star Trek game, and then on Mondays we have RPG with R&D, which is me and Robert Emerson, and the RPG guest of our choice for the week, usually a professional in the field, and we just sit there and BS for an hour.
That sounds like what we do here. Sweet. Where can someone find this program if they wish to ingest it?
You can find it on Twitch at easiest thing to do would be just copy the link. 2D20 Fallout Pack NW. Or you can find it on YouTube.
Okay, cool. And James Michael Spahn, who is the creator of the White Star RPG, has showed up in the comments. Good to see you, sir. If I had known you were up for this tonight, I would have invited you. Maybe we'll get you next Sunday if you're game. So that is James Michael Spahn. Sparky said hi in the comments too. Good to see you. The guy who's showing off White Star in his window is Walt Rebillard. How you doing, Walt?
No, he's not.
No, he's not. Not anymore. Walt also hosts various podcasts, including this one, the Galaxy's Edge Show, and sci-fi writers play old school D&D on various days of the week when it's sci-fi writers playing old school D&D. So
yes, I'd love to do it in multiple languages too, but apparently I'm the only one who does. So nobody else wants to come on and do the Spanish with me or Italian, or I really want to get that Tagalog show going, but everybody's telling me where to go and how to get there. Yeah, he hosts Cooking with Ranger Walt. Yeah, that's my my KSM show, Coffee and Concepts.
Okay, cool. I got nothing to say. All done in Spanish.
Todo bien aquí.
You know, you probably need to get some Spanish speakers if you want to play in Spanish.
No, that would be the fun of it. You learn Spanish while you're playing.
Otherwise, you get a bunch of white guys going, "Donde es biblioteca?" And it's and
¿Cuál es la fecha de hoy?
The jolly fellow laughing below me in the Beardy Brunch grid is J.R. Hanley, science fiction writer and man about town, who also hosts the Blasters and Blades podcast because he's a white guy over the age of 40, and you're required to do at least one podcast by law. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm going to contest the middle age. I think you got to be like 90 before you say middle-aged. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, cool. So today we're here to talk about Blaster Bolts, which is this new zine we got. And it was Walt's brainchild. I kind of ran with it. It was your goddamn idea, man. Don't twist out now. I said, I'm thinking about doing a science fiction zine because there's not enough markets for short science fiction. And goddamn it, I'm good enough and I can do this. And you said, combine it with White Star RPG content. So here, issue 7. Blaster Bolts, which contains Chains of Mission Frago from J.R. Hanley. How you doing, J.R.?
I'm doing great. And yourself, sir?
I'm all right. And this also contains a short setting for White Star by Mr. Drader. And here is the Sinborg Apocalypse mini setting. So who wants to go first, Darren or JR?
That is awesome art.
That is.
Did I tell you what that reminds me of?
Don't say it.
No.
G.I. Joe. Okay, I'm making that up.
Okay, that's better. So Darren, why don't you tell us about this setting, and then we'll have JR talk about his story.
All right, setting. So what can we say about it? It features space combat that might be somewhat similar to the South Pacific of World War II. It features a lot of robots trying to kill humans. Mm-hmm. And it also might
sort of like the Borg in Star Trek, perhaps.
Not so
cooler.
much.
Not so much. Okay.
Cooler.
The Borg incorporated biological components, whereas the Sinborg are there are no biological components, and they don't assimilate; they slaughter.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. And you thought White Star was a good choice for this. Why?
Well, it kind of has a neat retro feel that might feel very familiar to people who are, say, 5 years old in 1978, and White Star just has a really classic feel to it. Definitely old school. It's an old school game, so it plays like early RPGs, and to me, they just seem to fit really well.
Okay, sweet. And we're going to have a whole series of this going on. We've got this is the first introduction to Sandborg Apocalypse, and we have an adventure set on a prison ship. And let's see, there is the map for that, also by a friend of the podcast, Jacob Blackman. And my God, just look at that pretty map. That's a thing of beauty for all time, ladies and gentlemen. And after this, we've got several other adventures in this mini setting, so it'll be going for the next 2 or 3 issues. And
so here's what I gotta know:
yeah.
Are we gonna have like 6 issues out and then go for the gritty reboot with the hot Sandborgs?
No.
Good.
We're gonna peer pressure Sparky to do a campaign with the Sandborgs.
Don't threaten him with a good time, man. He'll do it.
He's been talking about taking the Ezines, because I know the new word now because Mike taught me this Ezine word. He said he's been talking about doing some one shots with these.
Oh, good.
It's I think electronic publishing is not just a fad. I think it's here to stay. So
no, they said that about the 8-track too.
Fair enough.
You're the only one who's probably had one of those, bro.
Yeah, 20 years in, I think it's here.
I think so. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's like lower back tattoos.
What, 5 years, 4 years, something like that.
Lower back tattoos.
They've been around for about the same amount of time, right?
Oh my God!
It used to be it was kind of cutting edge and rebellious, and now it's like you go to I go to school gatherings for my grade school age child, and I go to PTA meetings, and half the moms there have lower back tattoos. It's mainstream.
Now please tell me there is some like kid who heard his dad saying like what we used to call that in our 20s and like rolling up and going, hey, did you know, Bill's mom has and just dropping that bomb right in the middle of the playground.
I haven't seen that happen, but I guarantee it has. So
maybe not in public, but
maybe not in public.
I'm sure it happens all the time in private.
Indeed. Hey, speaking of things, I got no good segue. JR, you had a story for this issue called, let me get the image up so I don't mess this up because my memory is just terrible. Chains of Mission Frago, which you have called your Space Coasties story. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
So it started with, was testing the waters and the ability to co-write, because I have a series coming out with Jamie, and we wanted to sort of get the irons, iron out all the whatevers. I'm losing the metaphor. We'll go with it. It's 10 o'clock at night. And so we thought a short story would be a great way to do it. And so we literally were joking about, the one service that never gets any love was the Coasties. So it started as a joke. And so it's a very pissed off petty officer who his recruiter promised him the world, and he got stuck on a patrol mission over the Red Planet, doing boring things in the middle of nowhere. He was promised beaches and bikinis, and it didn't work out that way because recruiters are sometimes less than honest. I know, you're shocked. And then, surprise activities happen, and he's left to deal with the consequences.
All right. Cool. And it's a fun story, and you can get it now, gentle listeners, for less than a full $1 at Drive-Thru RPG. Just look for Blaster Bolts issue 7.
But you don't have to go to Drive-Thru RPG to get it. You can also go to the X Mart. They sell them too, and I hear those copies are they're top notch.
But what JR is referring to is our quirky and retro trade dress, which has a X Mart stamp, as well as having an action figure styling around the cover image.
I was going to say, I thought JR was smoking the dog food again.
I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make it through the night. But I definitely want that as a poster for my wall for reasons, because that is glorious art.
The Blaster Bolts? Yeah, that's a great. He does great covers.
Those are amazing.
We've had really good luck. Let me show you the one for next week coming out. Next week's story is by a guy named Michael Jan Friedman, who has written a bunch of Star Wars and Star Trek licensed novels. I think he did an episode of Voyager too. Great writer. He did an old-fashioned space western for us called
Nice.
Outlaw. And Jacob did this particular cover here, just with the blaster and the hat and the various silver pieces, and just beautiful and atmospheric. And this will be coming out on Tuesday or Wednesday. Also at Drive Through RPG or Drive Through Fiction for just a single $1 or 99
awesome.
cents.
Hey, I was looking at this this dude that's on. He's got a channel and he does 3D sculpts and STLs, he's messing with high grade resin and aluminum. So
wow.
The printer this guy has is insane. But he recently turned, and Mike, if you look at your screen, he recently turned a 22 caliber cowboy gun from Ruger into like space cowboy guns.
Lord.
Oh, that is glorious.
Right?
Are they functional?
They're functional. Yeah, they're fully functional 22 caliber cowboy guns.
So
they're for the
cordless
range.
hole
pretty much.
punchers. Okay.
Yeah,
I like
they're
it.
for like those cowboy action sports.
Okay.
People practice their what do you call it? Their drawing.
Their
fan
quick
the
draw.
hammer. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, he fabricated these, based on another design. He fabricated these on an aluminum printer, and they're fully functional firearms. But they look like space western kind of stuff. So I was like, oh my god, that's so dope.
That is pretty cool. So I didn't know you could do 3D printing in aluminum.
I didn't know either.
The aluminum printers are ridiculously expensive.
Okay.
You can get a nice high res printer. A nice resin printer for about $1,000 or a little bit less nowadays. The aluminum stuff is $6, $7, $8 grand.
So we need a Kickstarter so you can start printing swords. Hearing?
No, not out of aluminum.
But they could be like wall pieces.
No, I'm good with that. I only deal in real steel, bro.
I'm guessing that the steel 3D printer is quite a bit more expensive than
I have never seen one. I've never seen one. So, but
I think
I know I bet you it does. I know the aluminum ones. The reason that they have them is for aircraft parts, customized aircraft parts, mostly for very old aircraft that they don't make stuff anymore, and the stuff has been picked clean. So you see them at air shows and all that jazz. But I mean, why pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a nut that nobody fabricates anymore when you can just 3D print it to write the specs?
Well, I just found a high quality steel 3D printer for $15,000.
Really? They have it?
Yeah, it exists.
Oh wow! I didn't know they exist.
Too.
What is it?
GE has one too. General Electric.
I bet.
Not to be confused with the cooler GE.
Yeah. Galaxy's Edge for the win.
At a certain point, they just got to be, arc welders.
Pretty much.
Programmable arc welders.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that and plasma cutters at the same time too, especially depending on the gauge of steel.
Yeah. There's multiple companies that sell those. The second one I found won't give you a price online. They just say, email us for a quote and we'll talk.
When they won't put the price online, you got problems.
Hey, Jason Sunday, how you doing, sir? We game with that guy on Mondays. Oh, here's Sparky is weighing in saying you can 3D print just about any material these days, but not at all your home units like titanium printers. So well, cool.
So does the Sinborgs have a 3D printer? Can they 3D print more like troops?
Ah, man, we'd have to get into next issue's adventure to answer that question.
Oh,
right.
To be
completely honest with you, I forgot.
Darren is, in addition to being an RPG legend, a busy mofo, and he can't be expected to keep all these details in his head at once, Walt. He's got a lot going on.
Right, that's why he's got you, Mike.
That's why he's got me. I have a terrible memory ever since I had a kid. Let me scroll through next week's issue and see what we can get. Look at this page formatting.
Actually, I'm sorry, it's not next week. It's the one after that.
I really like the layout, though. Those look nice. Yeah.
Bradley McDivitt did the side panels for us, and Craig Williams, a friend of John Gibbons, does our layout. But and this map was by Mr. Drader. Look at that. That's beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
So does the Drive-Thru RPG let you buy a print copy of this? Do they do a print on demand, or you just get the PDF?
Okay. Long story. Drive-Thru RPG print on demand is not always a smooth road.
Can confirm.
So
Okay.
I have your issue. Issue number 7 is in pre-approval right now. I've uploaded all the POD files to DriveThru. I'm waiting to get it. And if it works for your issue, there's several other authors who want their own issues to sell at conventions and that kind of thing. So we're waiting to see. Looking forward to it. Hey, there's Jason Sunday again. Thanks, Jason. So that'll be coming out soon, hopefully. Like I say, that road is rocky and not smooth, but hopefully it'll happen fast.
Mike, if you put this up on your screen, this is a depiction of exactly what print on demand from DriveThru RPG is like. So go with that on your own.
Those guys at DriveThru RPG mean well. They really do. Their print vendor gives them lots of troubles. So.
It's actually not them. It's the guys that they do their POD through, which is like the biggest national print on demand guys out there. The only problem is their machinery is probably from the 1950s, and that's why it has the specs that it does.
So my understanding is they use Lightning Source, right?
They do, yeah.
Is Lightning Source not the same company that that Lulu goes through?
No, different.
No.
Oh, because Lulu is nice and slick and easy, and I have some experience with that, and it's very user friendly and worthwhile.
I know who that is.
El Berzidente. And that's the thing too. Lulu has their own printing. You got Create Space, which is very similar, and can do just about the same thing. But I mean, you're still talking that DriveThru RPG is the biggest one in town, and they use a big POD company.
Yeah.
I know some some publishers that use Lightning Source, and they get a really good deal on novels if they buy them $1,500, $2,000 at a pop, and they get them from Lightning Source, and Lightning Source can put you in Walmart, Target, like all the box stores. Lightning Source can put you in, but as far as like POD, they're for stuff like RPG stuff, it's just difficult because of the the way that they set up their die cutting for big print runs. It's not easy.
Yeah. Well, I just saw Mr. Spawn in the comments again. Just wanted to plug this game one more time. White Star RPG, based on White Box. My God, it's easy to publish for. It's easy to write for. It's a great system. You should check it out.
It's a lot of fun. And the great thing is too, like we did a play test of White Star, a year or two ago, where we did aliens. Colonial Marines versus aliens and stuff like that. Guys were dying in droves, and it was awesome. And but you can make a character in 8 to 10 minutes and be playing right away. And guys at the table were like, no, give him this, give him that, and they're just like it was almost part of the game. Like when somebody died, we're like, okay, now we need another machine gunner because these guys are gonna, and you're just like, that's the great thing about White Star. It's just plug and play, and it's awesome. So if you get a chance, try it out. It's really a lot of fun.
A great system, and our eventual plans with Blaster Bolts is feeding into a Kickstarter, hopefully in a month or two, where we'll have an anthology for the fiction and an omnibus for all the game material.
Nice.
And probably do POD on those too, and we'll fight that battle with Lightning Source when we have to.
Are you planning on uploading the maps separately if people wanted to buy those to print for their own tables? Like I've seen them do on DriveThru, where you can buy the actual maps.
I hadn't considered this at all. I guess we could.
Well, it's giving me the look. So
well, the thing is, if Mike owns the complete rights to the map, he can publish that as a printable map that you could do as 14.5 by 17 or whatever the format size is for that. Mm-hmm. But if it's a map, say he got it, that it's used under license, mm-hmm. he can put it in the book, but he can't print it on his own as its own separate thing.
The maps that I did for him, he owns.
Oh, so that's
that'll
easy.
Make that easy.
Yeah.
So,
James, come on, dude.
I mean, they say never trust a person who uses 3 names. So,
Oh my God. Yeah,
so
James is seriously good people, though. Yeah, he's a good dude.
So, Darren, when can we buy those action figures? I mean, I'm asking for a friend.
The action figures. I'll let you know. I need to go into the future and find out when I've got the whole thing set up and get them 3D printed and everything. So I'll go into the future, find out for you, and come back and let you know.
I have an
All right.
STL guy that can help you.
Yeah.
I did see him on TV, and I was like, I have to have those. But wait, there's more.
And every one of these toys comes with shatterproof glasses, which is a callback to a very old story if you happen to be our age and know something about that. So this is part of our trade dress, and the whole package is we have faux ads, fake ads in the back for merchandise and toys related to.
I mean, I'd almost pay for this just for the freaking ads. They're hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a slim dollar. You know, will be a higher price tag once we get the anthology and the omnibus out. But for
Wait,
now,
you mean I
And, hey,
paid too much at
maybe I can-
Xmart?
Maybe I can actually talk you into doing a full Sinborg Apocalypse source book.
we could talk about that. I'd be up for it. I'd have to think up some more ads, but yeah, I would definitely be up for it. So, all right. I promised everybody a fun and fast podcast, and I feel like we've been at least fun, if not fast, heading towards the half-hour mark. So, hey, check us out. Drive Through RPG, Drive Through Fiction. Cool stories, cool RPG stuff, and we'll be back next week talking with more of our writers and other creatives from Blaster Bolts. So, thanks, everybody, and we'll catch you next Sunday.